Positive Connections Radio, HALT and Call for Backup, Episode 116, The No Matter What Club.
Mike, when was the last time you had a one-on-one with a client about the No Matter What Club?
The No Matter What Club. You know what? It was this last week. I talked about that, and I talk about it frequently, the No Matter What Club. And a lot of people don't understand what it is. But when it relates to recovery, like thinking in your life, Jim, let's say you are in long-term active recovery, all right, or you want to be. And let's say you have alcohol abuse problems or drug problems, mental health problems, whatever it is, but you want to stop what you're doing. A lot of times when we get into recovery, especially when we're talking about first responders, it's usually the very first time. We don't trust a lot of people. We don't trust recovery. We think that we can do it. Giving up control is another big thing. That's one thing that a lot of us have a hard time letting go of, because that's what we're trained to do, is hold on to that control, and we take it into our lives too. If we're looking at the future and looking at giving up, let's say alcohol, like I want to stop drinking. Okay, well, it's easy to say, it's easy to do. You could just stop drinking. The hard part comes keeping it stopped, keeping up with your program, staying connected with other people. The No Matter What Club comes into play where if you have reservations about your recovery, if you have reservations about your drinking, let's say a reservation is this, that, okay, I'm going to stop drinking, but in a couple years, when my daughter gets married, I'm definitely going to have a glass of champagne with her. So then I'll have to start all over again. Now, when I tell myself, when I have these reservations, when I tell myself someday I will, my brain just says, well, why not do it earlier than that? And the chances are I'll start drinking again long before my daughter gets married and I have that glass of champagne. And the chances are I won't even make her wedding because I will be stuck back in that hole where I came out of. So the No Matter What Club is a concept. No matter what happens in my life, nothing can ever make me go back to drinking again. Nothing can make me. I can make excuses. Oh, well, I got fired from work. I got disciplined. Of course I drank. I needed a drink. I needed to escape this. I was doing really great, and all of a sudden something really tragic happened in my life. I drank over it. Think of all the things that could happen that can make you go back to what you were doing before. All the tragic things that could happen. It's always possible, I guess. But what would make you go back? And why would it make you go back? Does it have to? Or can you live through that and press on and survive through that in recovery and handle things without putting something in your body to make you feel different? So that's what the No Matter What Club is. Yeah, I don't ever want to drink again, but I'm just not going to drink for today. Tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen, but the chances are I'll wake up in the morning, I'll do my normal routines, positive steps to make my day that much brighter, eating healthy, exercising, whatever it is, getting plenty of rest. I'll get through tomorrow too without drinking. So I've done it many days in a row, but I don't know what's going to happen. But the thing is, it's about choice. It's not saying to myself or to you, you can never do this again. Because when we tell ourselves we can never do something, what do? Of course I can do it. I'll do it my way. But now if you say, I'm part of the No Matter What Club, no matter what happens in my life, and there's going to be things that are happening, nothing can make me go back to doing what I was doing before. I can freely choose to do it. And Jim, in my life, I just choose not to. And it's that much easier when it's my decision. I choose not to. And I don't have to explain myself to anybody.
Mike, when did the thoughts of the No Matter What? Because you've spoken about this before in our podcast. And there was one show that we did a while back, and you were talking about the No Matter What Club with such passion and fever. And it was at the end of the podcast. And I always thought it was so profound and so powerful. Where did you first hear about the No Matter What Club? When did it hit home for you? What were you going through?
back when I first got sober. Back in 2012, I went to inpatient for 28 days, and then I went to intensive outpatient for probably about a year after that. Somewhere in there, I heard about the No Matter What Club. It was a concept that I've never really thought about before, the way I talk to myself. My initial reaction was, wow, that is a pretty good concept. It's just like when I was told or suggested by people in recovery that were trying to give me tools to help me stay sober, help me work on my mental health, help me get out of that realm of that control that I really didn't have control over anymore in my life. And when I heard that No Matter What Club, I was thinking, no matter what happens, and I had to dive deep. I had to dive deep into what would happen in my life that would make me go back. A death of a family member, divorce, loss of a job, all these things I played in my mind. And after each one of them, and it was pretty emotional for me to think about those things, but even though those things happen, if they do happen, and they probably won't happen, I will not go back to doing what I was doing before. I'm going to stay on that path. I'm going to survive through this. I'm going to get through this, understand my recovery path, and eventually someday I'll be able to give it back to others and be confident in what I talk about because I lived it and I know the way out. And especially with excuses, I don't want to make excuses for things anymore. I just want to own it. And once I own it, I take the power away from it. And whatever consequences come across as a result, I'm going to take it and I'm going to move on with my life.
You know, when it is applied with first responders, the first thing that comes to my mind is how all of us as first responders have been trained like we're the ones going in when everyone else is running away, basically. We're the ones that are leaning in. And that resonates with me with the No Matter What Club. No matter what, we're not leaving anybody behind. No matter what, I'm coming home today, no matter what. And even going through the initial academies that we've all been through. You know, how bad do you want it? I want it really bad. You want it as bad as the air you breathe? Yeah, pretty much. I want this job because, like you know, Mike, and our listeners know, not everybody gets to be a first responder, and that's okay. The ones that become a first responder, a dispatcher, law enforcement, paramedic, firefighter, they're really thirsting for it above and beyond. And we already have that ingrained in us as first responders. So we can take this next step. To me, it's like a natural transition, no matter what. Because we've been playing no matter what all of our careers now. No matter what, I'm going to be there. No matter what, I'm your backup. I may not like you, Sergeant, but I damn well respect your chevrons. I respect your position, and I will definitely be there no matter what. And if we can apply that into our mental wellness and our recovery, no matter what, like you said, and it was really profound, Mike, just for today, no matter what. Figure out tomorrow, but just for today, the here and now, right here, right now. And that's how all of us are trained. This is the call I'm on. This is what I'm focused on right here, right now, no matter what, just for this moment in time.
Exactly. Yeah. And no matter what happens in life, I've dealt with so many people that have had a hard time staying sober, had a hard time with their mental health issues, whatever it was. And, you know, a lot of times they come back to me and I ask them and I said, what happened? What went wrong? Why'd you go back? You were sober for 6 months. You were sober for a year. You're sober for 3 months, whatever it is. I hear a lot of excuses. Well, this is what happened. This is what, okay, look, you drank, you used, you isolated, you got to that point because you wanted to, right? That's the real answer there is, you know, why did you drink? Because I wanted to. Okay. That it comes down to that. Now, not that you're saying to yourself that you don't ever want to drink again or that you want to stay sober. However, if you have excuses, if you have those reservations already set, if you go through your mind and saying, well, sometimes when I'm doing a group, I'll ask them before I talk about the no matter what club. And I'll say, okay, let's see a raise of hands, or is there anything in your life? I know you want to be sober. Is there anything in your life that will happen that will bring you right back to drinking again, right? And I'll get a few hands up, and they'll say, well, yeah, if my wife divorces me, I'm going to drink over it. Oh yeah, if I'm suspended right now, or I'm on, unpaid or paid medical leave or whatever it is, and to get help, I'm in trouble maybe. If I lose my job, I'm going to drink. And I tell them, okay, well, it won't be because of you lost your job. It's because you want to drink. And you're already telling your mind that you're going to drink. So your mind's saying, okay, well, Mike's going to drink anyway, so you might as well drink now. Why you have to wait for this thing that's going to happen if it doesn't happen or not? It's the way we talk to ourselves. I use this analogy too. Like the most devastated things that could happen in my life, let's say the world's coming to an end, World War, whatever it is, or who knows, aliens come down out of the sky and start melting everybody and shooting everybody up, right? Taking over the planet. Am I going to go drink over that? No, I'm not. No matter what, I choose not to. It's a choice. It's not a command from anybody else to saying I can't do it. I can do whatever I want. I just choose not to. It's a great perspective to look at.
I was thinking about, as you were unpacking that, pain and fear. I have this thing that I say, there's nothing more painful than a broken heart. There is nothing more painful than a crushed spirit. And it seems like when we're facing those moments in time, what would cause you to go back and drink again? Well, a hell of a lot of pain is coming my way, and a hell of a lot of fear is coming my way. Like the example you used, I lost my wife. My wife divorced me. I've lost my career, lost my job. Somebody has died on me. Another friend has died on me. Whatever those pieces are, they're all about pain and fear. And I think it's one of the places that I always like to take my clients to, because that's where the healing actually is, leaning into the fear and learning how to cope with it and regulate it. I've been through at least, as you were talking, Mike, I've been through at least 4 absolutely bone-crushing, heartbreaking, spirit-destroying moments in my life. The worst thing it made me do, I dodged drinking, I dodged everything else, I worked out. I remember swimming laps in the pool. Like we've talked, I'm a lap swimmer and I've been swimming all my life. I would scream underwater. Underwater so nobody would hear me. I would hit the flip turns and just crush the flip turns as hard as I could and just scream underwater. And then I started laughing because I was imagining cartoon bubbles coming up above the surface and then popping open with my screams. I kind of floating through, orbiting through space.
Wow.
And I had a doctor ask me once, because he had noticed, Jim, you're losing a lot of weight, man. You lost 40 pounds in about a month and a half, right? We're going to give you some tests. And then, but what's happening with you personally? So I explained it to him, and he goes, wow. He said, are you drinking? I go, no. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm swimming a hell of a lot of laps, and working out a lot and screaming underwater. I'm not sleeping a whole lot right now. I'm having crazy nightmares, crazy night terrors. I wake up in a bloody sweat. All the things we've all experienced before. It's like every piece of the post-acute withdrawals, right? Pause. What do you got? I got flu-like symptoms. I'm losing weight. I'm irritable. And what I've learned through that process is that's where we have to live for a while and not be afraid of it. I have a client, Mike, that I was just talking to earlier this week, who's now divorced, and it's a crushing experience for this person. I know it's hard for people that are going through those moments in time to find their blessings, but they're there. And that's one of the important things to focus on. What do you got that's going good for your life? I got kids. What's your reason to live? I got kids. What else? Well, I got my career. What else you got going? I've got good family members. What else you got? Because the thing is, Mike, also, just because we go through these heartbreaking moments in life, they should give us reason to work through them. They should not give us reason to hurt ourselves or hurt anybody else. Welcome to the planet. We all go through them. All of us do. I'm not immune to it. You think because I'm in the psychology field, I'm immune to it? You think I've got it all figured out? No. But I know the process just like you do, Mike. This is important. Just for today. Life is easier lived right here, right now, just for today. I'll figure out tomorrow. Do my best to prepare for it. I'll do my best to learn from the past, but I want to live there. I want to live right in the here and now. And leaning into the pain and leaning into the fear and doing the opposite of how we feel. I feel like drinking this fear away. I feel like drinking this pain away. Not a good idea. When will you choose to learn? Because this is a piece about arrested development too, Mike. I'm a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old grown-ass person. What's the maturity level of someone who's going to grab a bottle and start drinking? And to get that pushed through and caught up with your chronological age. What does a wise person do when there's pain? I'll tell you what I do, man. I cry. I reach out. I got my wolf pack. Mike, you're a big part of that. I know I am that for you too. There's moments we talk and it's just like, holy moly, you know?
Yeah.
But that's where the healing is. And jump back into the conversation, Mike, no matter what, I'm going to do my best to feel every ounce of this pain and to push through this pain and to push through this fear, because that's where the healing is.
And you brought up some such great points, Jim. And one of the things is too, these situations that we come across, a lot of times we just want to escape them. And in recovery, we talk about doing the opposite of what you normally would do. If you could think of that, do the opposite of what you normally would say.
Yep.
And get through that moment. And it's such a great reward saying, you know what? I faced this fear. I didn't escape it. You know, we've been taught our whole lives. Look at the media, look at the social issues that we go through and the commercials and the advertising. You always want to look like someone else. You always want to be better. You always want to possess these things. People, places, or things. We get so stuck in those things that we have no control over. We have control over our behavior and ourselves, what we do to our bodies, what we do for our bodies, and how we respond to these circumstances that happen in our lives. You know, you're working on your mental health issues. You're seeing a doctor. You're seeing a therapist. You are doing the work. You're staying connected. And you're doing all these things for your recovery. And just remember to stay focused in the present. Stay focused in the present. And one of the very first keys, one of the very first acronyms that I learned in recovery is HAL, H-O-W, how it works. And that stands for honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. It really struck me that, you know what, maybe I haven't been that honest. I haven't been honest with myself. I don't trust myself. I'm definitely not honest with others. I would rather talk about your issues or somebody else's issues than to have you look at me and for me to divulge my issues that I'm going through. Another term in recovery is you're sick as your secrets. I have these secrets that I'm holding on to. I don't want you to see them. I don't want you to hear them. I don't want you to talk about them to me because I want to keep these to myself because I'm maybe full of shame, full of guilt, whatever it is. And I want to keep this to myself. When I'm honest with myself, when I know that I'm being dishonest and I'm able to correct that, that is a blessing. That is part of my recovery where I'm thinking, okay, Mike, you're actually doing something positive for yourself. So how it works, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. If I could remember to put honesty first, put my recovery first, don't put anything in front of my recovery. Because once I start putting something in front of my program, my positive program of recovery, let's say I'm getting sober. Okay, I'm going to meetings. I'm seeing a therapist. I'm seeing a doctor. I'm staying connected. I'm doing all these things here. Once I put something in front of that, like I'm doing great. It's been 3 or 4 months. I'm not thinking of killing myself anymore. I'm getting along with my family. I haven't drank in 3 months. I'm doing good. Maybe I don't need to go to these meetings. Maybe I don't need to see the therapist once a week. Maybe it's like once a month. Or maybe I'll just skip a couple of them and see how I do. Once I start putting other things in front of my recovery, Oh, I've been going to this meeting once a week. And you know what? Tonight, I'm just going to sit home and watch the football game. Oh, next week comes around. Oh, we got something to do with the family. And pretty soon it's 2 months down the road. I haven't been to that meeting. Right. If I start putting something in front of that, if I start putting my kids, if I start putting my job in front of it, I'm going to forget about my recovery and probably go back to what I was doing before.
Yeah. There's that famous line from one of the Rocky movies, where Rocky, the boxer, is having a hard time getting back into the gym and working out. He keeps telling Apollo Creed, I'll do it tomorrow. And he gets in his face. He goes, there is no tomorrow. Of course, he says it with a lot more passion. He's screaming at him, there is no tomorrow. And that's very true in life. And you see how this all links together, Mike, the beauty of the No Matter What Club, the how piece, the honesty, the open-mindedness, the willingness, and the intelligently selfish choices that we must make. And we talk about this before. I'm not being selfish. I'm being smart about my selfishness. It is vital for my life. It is vital for my recovery. It is vital for my mental wellness. It is actually vital for my family and my friends that I get to my ass to the gym, right? That I get my ass to the 12-step meeting, that I call my sponsor, that I do the steps, that I give back. I have a sponsor-sponsee relationship. I give back. I'm of service. No matter what, I must get sleep. No matter what, I must avoid the trigger places that are gonna tempt me to relapse. No matter what, I must rethink my emotional responses to the things that have pissed me off or hurt my heart before. No matter what, I must be intelligently selfish about my recovery. And people who are invested in our lives, our wolf pack, our supportive spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, families, they will understand that and they would be cheering us on. The people that don't cheer us on, I want to eject them from my life. Right. I literally want to pull the ripcord. I don't need you.
Yeah.
I need people that are going to cheer me on and understand when I'm struggling and that will look me in the eye and say, Jim, what is it I always say in counseling? Hey, Mike, I got something to say to you, Mike. How do you want this? You want this direct, or do you want me to beat around the barn a couple of times? Right. And everybody, says, no, give it to me direct. All right. I'll give it to you direct, but with love. Hey, Mike, look, here's the deal. Mm-hmm. Your ass needs to be in the gym, pal. Your ass needs to be going here. You need to focus on you. But she might break up with me, or he might break up with me. They might. And if they do, over your work to save your life, good riddance.
Yeah, put yourself first. And you talk about boundaries and you talk about your core values, setting those boundaries. Do you want someone in your life that keeps on putting you down, that keeps on trying to drag you back down or remind you of what you did in the past? And look at this. When I start working with honesty and I let these things out, these secrets out, whether it's to a therapist or, a loved one or you, Jim, or whatever it is, when I get these things out of me, hey, I don't have to go back to holding secrets anymore, right? I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you say about me. I care about myself and I know what I think about myself. It's none of my business what you think about me. That's another thing that hit me really hard early on when he said, Mike, it's none of your business what people think about you.
Yeah. And
I thought in my head, what is my business then? Well, what I think about myself. And right now, I don't think very highly of myself. And it's a lot of fear-based where I don't want to change. Change is just so much work. Or I've gone down this road for so long and I've made so many mistakes. I can't forgive myself. No one will forgive me. What's the point of changing now? Right? What's the point of changing now? Or like you said earlier, I'll change tomorrow. And tomorrow will never come because tomorrow will come and I'll make another excuse for making it another day later. I want to ask you a question, Jim. How important is it for first responders to be honest with themselves and about their struggles?
It's, I think, the most important thing. And that's the fascinating question, is that we are trained to be honest. We thirst for honesty. We seek out honesty. If you're a paramedic on a call, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Patient, tell me what's going on. What's your medical history? Don't leave anything out.
Right.
You're a law enforcement professional going in on a call. I need to know the truth here. But what prevents them? Fear of telling the truth. Dispatchers, you're calling 911 for a reason. What's going on? And they won't tell you what's going on. So we are geared for truth. And yet we struggle with telling the truth about our very selves. And that's so important to push through, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to be real. I can't tell you how many times, I don't blame them. I can't tell you how many times people come into session with me as a therapist, and a couple of months goes by and we're not making any real headway. And then I will ask them, hey, am I missing something here? Because we're not getting the growth and the gain that I normally see in session. Or the client will come to me and say, hey, I wrote you a letter. What's up? Yeah, I got to read this letter to you, Jim, because from the moment I started seeing you a year ago, I have been lying to you.
Wow.
All right, read me the letter. And they do, and they are in tears. This has happened several times.
Yeah.
Jim, I have been nothing but lying to you since I got here. I'm a fake, I'm a phony, I'm addicted, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that. And they're just crushed. And my response to that, in answer to your original question, Mike, how important is honesty? My response is I'm generally in tears with them because I just have that mirror response. Oh my gosh, this is the best day ever. I got to tell you something, Mr. and Miss Client. What's that? I am blown away by your honesty. Mm-hmm. I am blown away by your vulnerability. I am blown away by your truth telling. Thank you. Thank you for telling me this. I am amazed by you. And that's different than the world says to a liar. What does the world say to the liar? Telling me a lie for the past year.
Right.
Right? I want a divorce. We're broken up. That's it. I'm done. We're gone. There's no safety.
Mm-hmm.
There's no safety. Now, you still can provide those choices, but when a person is becoming vulnerable and so like the first responder, right, that doesn't want to be vulnerable. Why? Well, I'm afraid to lose my job. I'm afraid to be arrested. I'm afraid to go to jail. I'm afraid to lose my marriage. I'm afraid to lose my finances. I'm afraid to lose everything. And a lot of times in those careers, pride is in the way.
Right.
Like you said earlier, Mike, it's so profound. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what I think.
And honesty can bring a lot of consequences too, right? I mean, if I'm completely honest with someone, they might hold it against me. They say, "What? You've been lying this whole time to me?" And you're finally talking. I mean, I can't forgive you over that. Okay, well then maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to take a different path because you know what? Yes, I've made some mistakes in the past. Yes, I've lied, I've hidden, I've stolen, I've cheated, whatever the deal is, okay? But I make it to myself that from this point on, I'm going to be doing this for myself. I'm going to be, like you said, Jim, intelligently selfish. I'm going to do what these people suggest that I do, and I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to be vulnerable. When I feel safe enough, when I trust other people, I'm going to tell them what's on my mind because I just heard, Jim over there talking about what he's been dealing with, and he's been completely honest. The stuff that I'm holding in right now is pretty similar to what he's talking about. Why can't I say it? What am I afraid of? And yeah, like we said, there might be consequences, okay? Get it out. If there is, if you can't work through it, if you lose your best friend, if your husband or wife will not forgive you, unfortunately in life, we do hard things. We get through these things and we have to face our fears, the fear of consequences. Yes, we made a mistake. Okay, I have to own this one. I have to somehow get through this and I'm going to have some loss. I don't really see a lot of recovery without a lot of loss. Unfortunately, if we have something to lose, we'll probably lose it before we get really serious about our recovery. And unfortunately, in that part too, a lot of us lose our lives, and a lot of us lose our lives by our own hands. And that is just, man, that just breaks my heart because everybody has the opportunity to have a good life, and everybody deserves to have a good, loving life, no matter what happened in the past.
Yeah. This is why the No Matter What Club is so important. No matter what, I will be a truth teller. You can apply it to everything. No matter what, I'll be a truth teller in life. No matter what. No matter what, I will be intelligently selfish with my life.
Right.
No matter what, I will invoke HALT and call for backup. The name of our show, Mike. We looped it around hungry, angry, lonely, tired. A concept that's been floating around recovery for a long, long time. The top 4 things we can do or be involved in or feel that can mess up our lives, mess up our careers, mess up our relationships. Am I hungry? Am I low blood sugar? Have I not eaten in a while? Am I a little edgy now because I had too much coffee and no food? Am I angry? Am I coming in hot? What pissed me off? And a lot of times in life, it's not the person in front of us that's pissed us off. It's the person 5 persons ago that's pissed us off.
Right.
And we're just holding on to it, right? And then we just come unglued at the poor person in front of us, the poor, the line at the grocery store, and you're just sitting there burning. If it was like a Snoopy cartoon, you'd see the black smoke coming off of your head in the middle of the store. Am I hungry because I'm in the store and I'm already angry? Am I lonely? We talked about separations, divorces, losing loved ones, losing our beautiful pets in life. Am I lonely?
Yeah.
Am I tired? Have I not slept well? Man, this job will kill us. This job will destroy our sleep. We have horrible sleep when you're working these shifts as a law enforcement professional, firefighter, paramedic, dispatcher. You just have to get ready to lose sleep, but you should make that the top priority. You talk about being intelligent and selfish. Get your sleep restored, because if you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or 2 or 3 or all 4 of those, you have already set yourself up or being set up for failure. And you must recognize that. No matter what, club, no matter what, check in with yourself. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? And if I am, pump the brakes, do a 4-wheel lockup, pull over, back up. Analyze yourself. All right, I'm going into a situation right now. Going into a meeting, going to go talk to a supervisor, dispatcher, call to call, coming in on the phone bank. I'm getting more and more edgy by the minute, man. And guess what else? These calls are recorded. Recorded piece of history. How do I want to sound on this call if I'm hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? It's never too late. Pull the parachute. Slow it down. Go get a bite to eat. Get some water. Back up. Start talking about it. Mike, can you cover me for a second? Yeah, what's up? Man, I'm hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
You're going to take a halt break, man. I'm going to halt.
Take a halt break.
I do it all the time. And
yeah.
And remember, this is new. And recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. Nothing's perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You just practice it and don't give up no matter what. Yeah. I'm not going to give up no matter what. I have a therapist that I don't like for some reason. I got to figure out it. Well, not you, Jim, of course, but everybody likes you. But let's say I have a therapist and I don't mesh with them. Something's not working. Like you said before, maybe I'm not being honest with them, or maybe I have been and it's just not working. Find another one. It's okay. Find another one. Find one till it works, right? And no matter what, you're going to continue going. And we make mistakes. We're human. Nothing's perfect. Yeah, I lied. Oh man, now what do I do when I lie to somebody? Before I used to hold it in and no one would know that I lied, and I would just keep on lying, and it would just like snowball into some big old fat lie I could never get out of, and then I can't talk about it to anybody. Before it gets to that point now, I lied. Okay, what do I do? What did Mike say to do? What did Jim say to do? Confront it. Fall on the sword. Hey, loved one. Hey, friend. I told you this, and I'm telling you right now, man, I want to live a better life. I want to be honest. I'm working this program of recovery. Hey, I lied to you. I apologize. How do I make it right? Okay. Yeah. Pretty soon you'll get to a point where you want to lie about something and you don't let it come out of your mouth. And you might think of this, another acronym, maybe our last acronym, WAIT. Why am I talking? Do I have to talk? Do I have to respond? Do I have to send this text? Do I have to send this email? I can wait. I can hold on. I can change gears. I can call Jim and say, Jim, hey, I'm going to write this text. Can you read it over for me real quick? Mm-hmm. I want you to read it over and tell me what you think. And Jim will read it and say, Mike, tell me you didn't send this yet. And I said, nope. He goes, you delete that right now, sir. We got to talk about this, and it's okay. We'll get through it. Maybe you don't have to respond at all. So there's a lot going on with what we're saying right now. It's just, remember, it's not perfect. You won't be perfect, but you'll be a lot better once you start changing direction in your life, and things will be a lot easier to get through. Even grocery lines, you'll get to say, I'm going to be present. Why am I getting mad over this? It's not their fault. I have to accept people for who they are. There's so many great things to work on in recovery. It just takes time.
Yeah. It's funny about that grocery line thing. There was once where I was in a line and I felt it upwelling. It was the classic example of the cashier wasn't on their A game, and the poor elderly person was the one that was going to be exact change that he or she was counting out of her little pocket, little purse and stuff. I felt it just upwelling in me that I think my head's going to explode because I was in a hurry.
Right.
I needed to be someplace. So what I did the opposite of how I felt. I pulled out of the line and I went around the store. Let me head over to just wherever. Let me just breathe a little bit because I'm not in a good spot right now. And the funniest thing happened. I came back, more registers were open, and I got through, right? But it's all how we look at things and how we set ourselves up for victory and not failure. We talked a lot about some really important things today, Mike, the No Matter What Club, and how that's appropriate for recovery and all aspects of life. No matter what, I'm eating healthy today. No matter what, I'm going to be kind to my mate today. No matter what, I'm going to do a random act of kindness for some stranger I don't even know today. No matter what, I'll be kind to my dog. The being intelligently selfish, how, honesty, open-mindedness, willingness. And then wait, why am I talking? Because there's power in silence, Mike. We've talked about it before. There's wisdom in tamping ourselves down and just listening.
I hope people listening get something out of this. Please reach out to us. Reach out to somebody if you're struggling. No matter what you're facing, whether it's stress, addiction, trauma, just remember there's always help and there's always a way out. The No Matter What Club isn't just a mindset. It's a lifeline, Jim. So call to action. If you or someone you know is struggling, please don't wait. Reach out for help, whether it's talking to a colleague, a therapist, or even reaching out to us. You are never alone in this. And there are people just waiting for you to say, I need help.
Absolutely, Mike. All right, you first responders out there that are listening to this, do the opposite of how you feel. Do you need to be honest? Should you choose to be honest and accept whatever consequences come your way? You just never know. The life you save will be your own, and you can break free of all the things that are weighing you down. Mike, we've talked before about the backpack with all the boulders in it. Get rid of the boulders. I'll tell you what, just get rid of the backpack. Do the opposite of how you feel. Be honest. Reach out for help. Talk about things. I guarantee you will feel better.
And remember, halt and call for backup.
Do the opposite of how you feel. Don't get fooled again.